And one way that we manage this is coppicing. So we can come back down and cut the trunks off to their point of attachment, not just make a wild hack, but just cut these back to the point of attachment and let them regrow for several years. This was a technique that was used in Europe for growing trees for fuel wood around smelting towns that depended on charcoal or wood source for fuel. And some of these forests in Europe, the stumps could develop, 15, 16, 18 feet in diameter over the centuries. And the reason that that's able to happen is because down here in the tree, in the lower part of the tree, it is juvenile. A young tree grows up, and at some point, as it grows upward and outward, there's a point where it becomes adult phase or sexually mature, and it can reproduce up at this level. But down here, the tree is forever young, and this does not work for people, unfortunately, but you can cut the tree off into that juvenile zone and it will always retain that juvenile vigor, and it's much easier than trying to manage it. A lot of times we try and manage these in views by pollarding them, cutting them off, the sprouts off to the same point. And with the bigleaf maple, it just puts out all these sprouts like crazy. It does this up here and shades out everything down here, and there's nothing to maintain. The tree has to really work hard to maintain this structure, whereas bringing the tree down low to this coppice point every time, the tree is only maintaining a short structure and is able to put all its energy into growth instead of maintenance. Here on Bainbridge Island, bigleaf maples have been managed in views for decades in this way. I have not counted rings or really done an in-depth analysis, but some of the sites we maintain where this has been done repeatedly, it's probably been done for 70 years, something like that. And the goal is to let them grow back for several years, I would say at least 3 years, before bringing them back down on a good-sized tree on a slope, so that we can keep a root system intact on that slope. Another reason not to let these get big is where we have been managing them as a coppice, is that not only will they fall apart and expose a lot more trunk to damage and potentially to some of the decay fungi like Kretschmeria, Ganoderma, that beat up on them. Not that they couldn't get in from cuts down below from coppicing, but what happens with a coppice is that it retains a live shell, kind of an exoskeleton like an insect, and that's the living part of the tree, and they can become, like I said, very, very wide, and we just don't have that history here on Bainbridge because we have only been settled here for, what, 150 years. So anyway, that's a stump sprout maple for you, and one technique for managing that.